Monday, February 1st, 2021, Cal City Police and FBI went back out to the property where Trezell and Jacqueline West first reported the boys missing on Aspen Avenue in Cal City. And they did a forensic sweep of that property as well as the two empty lots next door to there. And it's called ground penetrating radar or forensic geophysics. And basically it looks like a push mower, like a lawnmower kind of. And it works kind of like a metal detector or like a sonar on a submarine, and it emits like a signal that if there's something buried under the ground, it will bounce off of that and let them know that there's something buried there, and it's used to detect forensic stuff that may be buried in the ground. So if the boys were there, they would be able to locate them without having to dig up all these different properties. And so that's what they were out there doing. But Chief John Walker of Cal City PD said that there wasn't anything found during the search, no significant findings. So, I mean, they did it anyway, so that's good. They're taking all the different steps to try to search everything. So, I mean, I guess it's a good thing that they didn't find anything because we don't want them found that way, but it's unfortunate that they didn't find any helpful hints whatsoever. On Saturday, Cal City PD got a phone call of an 11-year-old that had ran away from home, and his parents couldn't find him, so they called the police. So, of course, another missing kid doesn't look good for Cal City, so they jumped right on it, and they actually found the boy and brought him back home within a few hours. He was just a few blocks away. But I feel like that did kind of distract some of the team members from this investigation. But at least, you know, they were right on it, and they found the kid, and they got him home. So
on Saturday, that put the department on edge. As soon as I got the call, yes, my heart stopped. Police were told an 11-year-old boy ran away from home at about 9 p.m. and couldn't be found. Officers were able to locate the boy a few blocks away a couple hours later.
You know, our anxiety level is like this high right now in lieu of what has happened, and we don't want people to think that we keep losing our kids. Different circumstances, absolutely.
and then on Monday, someone reported that there were bones buried in the desert and basically said that they knew this was the boys and they wanted their $100,000. And AV Watchman did a video on it and gave his opinion of that person. And he's right. I mean, if you're gonna falsify something in an investigation like this just for money or fame or whatever, and distract these people from being on the right path and send them on a wild goose chase to look at these bones in the desert that they were animal bones, sheep bones, they weren't human bones. And I mean, it appeared to the team that went out there that these were planted there. So I don't know if the person who planted them thought that they would just see the bones and say, oh yeah, that's the boys. I mean, there's so much technology that they use now that they would know that that's not the boys, especially if it's a sheep. But I mean, even if it would have been bones of other little boys, they would have been able to tell that that wasn't those little boys. There's DNA and other forensic evidence that tells you who somebody is, dental records, and I mean, it just doesn't make sense. So I don't know if they did it just out of spite or if they really thought that that would work, but either way, it's not a good look. And also on the KGET News for Cal City, they reported that there's been over 1,000 tips received over the 6 weeks since the boys went missing. It went from 20 to 40 a day to now only 5 to 10 a day. But I found it interesting that they said that not one single tip, not one, has been credible.
The anxiety is still very, very high in the community, as you just heard the police chief say. In the meantime, the chief says that there hasn't been one single credible tip that has come into CCPD so far, but he extends his gratefulness to the community for being so invested in this case, and he encourages people with any information about this case to continue calling the department. That number is on your screen now. We're live in California City. Bayan Wang, 23 ABC, connecting you. Hey, Jessica, good evening to you. There have been more than 1,000 tips in this case so far, with a lot of people claiming that they know exactly what happened to 3-year-old Orson and 4-year-old Orrin West. Authorities tell me that they've heard pretty much everything so far. It's been a long 6 weeks at the California City Police Department as the search for the 2 missing toddler brothers continues, and there's been no shortage of tips reported to police.
At the height, very early on, we were probably getting anywhere between 20 and 40 calls a day.
Things have slowed down a little bit since then. Between 5 to 10 tips are now reported a day. But with $100,000 of reward money on the table, dispatcher Jerry Angel says her team receives just about every kind of call.
They're underwater or near water. They're near this area. There must be a pond there. Honestly, the most bizarre recently is that we need to look at our chief because he's hiding the boys.
All tips are passed along to the lead investigator on the case, Brian Hansen, who asked to blur his face. He and 2 other officers work the case daily and have followed up with many callers.
It's everything from psychics to reverends to people having a feeling to people possibly seeing them or seeing a suspicious vehicle or hearing a kid crying. To seeing bones.
Police have received more than 10 tips claiming the boys are buried, the callers providing exact locations. The most recent one was on Monday.
During that time, we didn't find anything out there. Later on, we got a call from a citizen saying that they found bones just north of those coordinates. We went back out there and talked with the coroner's office, and they confirmed that those were, in fact, animal bones.
But they said that they appreciate everyone taking their time and effort and trying to help with the case. But they also said if you have a tip that isn't credible and you just want to say something, that's not really helpful and it's kind of distracting from what they need to be doing. So I say if you say you saw something that you think could apply, then definitely report it, because there's been numerous cases where somebody thinks, oh, well, I didn't think that meant anything. But it actually, later they're like, oh, well, I did see this, but I didn't think it was linked. So, in a case like that, if you're in the area and you think you saw something between Bakersfield and Cal City between September and December, then yeah, I would say maybe you saw something, maybe you know something, maybe you heard something. But, if you were in Florida and you never even been over there, then I don't think you saw anything. So, that I think is what they mean. If there's no possible way that you could have seen anything linked to this, then don't call and make a suggestion. They actually kind of had an attitude saying that they had gotten tips from priests and rabbis and psychics, and I believe psychics. I think, people have special abilities where they can see stuff, and I've had dreams before where it happened. So, I'm sure that there's people who could see something or pick up on something and know something, so I wouldn't discredit them just because they're psychic. But they kind of made a face about it. So, anyway, I say if you have something that you could share that would be helpful to the case, then definitely call. I'll link the number right here, and I'll also put it in the description. And in my other video, I did not link the number for the anonymous line. I just put the regular Cal City Police Department tip line, so I'm going to put the anonymous number in there too. That way, if someone's not comfortable with giving their information, they can call the anonymous line. So, yeah, we're just going to keep praying for the boys, and hopefully they can find them. And, yeah, at this point, we just want to get them home, whatever that means. So, thanks for watching. Give it a big thumbs up and subscribe. And there's more coming. I'm actually working on Chris Watts' video right now, which I know is really controversial. So, and there's so many parts to that it's hard to just do a summary. So I'm going to do a summary on just the facts. Try not to give any conspiracies, and that's what we're going to try to stick to. So if you're interested in that, make sure you like and subscribe so that you will see that later and turn on notifications. Thanks.